All right, welcome back to the Troubleshooting Life podcast. I'm your host, Jay Peters, with my co-host, Craig Poston, where we talk about various topics, sharing our experience on life and finances. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? How you
Not
doing?
much, man. It's been a week. It's been a week.
Yeah. Yeah, even though our week is normally together anyway.
Yeah.
But things do happen in between, the times that we're not together. So yeah,
life, family, all the other
yeah,
good stuff, right?
exactly. Yeah.
So you want
Yeah.
to kick it off with a little weekly life goals or just goals update?
We'll see. Well, my goal anyway was supposed to be towards the end of this month where I could meet more real estate investors or meet people in the real estate space. So yeah, mostly mine would end probably at the end of March. So that's when I probably give a better update.
Yeah.
But my other goals are still like focusing on picking up more information about real estate. Also, just me. I continued. I went back to a book that I was already reading, but I stopped it. But I was like, you know what? I got to finish this book, and it's called The Blue Ocean Effect. I think that's what it's called. Basically, it just talks about the blue ocean is basically new ideas, a new space to operate in. So you could be in the same field. So say we're podcasters, right? But if we aim for a space that's a little bit more away from everybody else. So say when you're in a space that everybody's in, they call that the red ocean. And the red ocean is full of sharks. That's the reason why the ocean is red. So as you move away, get into a blue space, there's more customers that are out there that are in this different space, the blue ocean. And as you figure this out, then you're able to be more successful because it takes a minute for the people from the red ocean to figure this out to get over there where you are.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good concept. I've never really heard it broken down like that.
Yeah. So like I'm gonna make sure I finish this book. I've had it for a while. I should have finished it a long time ago, but since I do my thing where I have to read at least 30 minutes every night before bed, so I would think I would be able to finish it at least by the end of the month. Because as I really don't do the 30 minutes, I end up doing more than 30 minutes some days because you kind of get into it, you start getting into the reading and whatever. Yeah. And so I think I should be able to finish at least by the end of this month.
That's what's up.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. So going back to that property I put an offer on last week that didn't pull out really well. So I got beat out on that one. Looking at another one right now, possibly going to put an offer on. Not sure yet. Still got to kind of survey the area a little bit more, look at a little bit more at the comps in that area. So we'll see, man.
Yeah, no, I hear it's tough out there, especially if you don't have that capital, that cash to just come in swooping by.
Dude, it's been rough, man.
So you have to.
I've been having to put up like way more, like in what's it called about purchase price.
Yeah.
Like it's been rough out there, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no. I mean, just because that you didn't get that deal doesn't mean another one's not going to come your way.
No,
and then you working with your realtor. I'm pretty sure you guys can come up with a better idea to maybe beat out some of the cash buyers. I know it's hard to beat out cash. Cash is cash, right? So it's like, hey, we can close quickly versus like, it might take a few weeks behind,
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I've been trying to adjust things like, lessening the option period, but increasing the option amount per day, increasing the amount of earnest money that I offer when I have to do the down payment and stuff, or when I are in the option period. So, working things here and there, because there was one property where I got beat out because the only difference between my offer and the other offer was that my option period was longer than the other one. And I was like, then never again, never going to do that again. So, I gotta work on that. So I probably won't hit the Q1 goal of closing on a property. for Q1, because for me to close on a property I would have had to be on contract by like March 1st.
Yeah.
But hopefully I can at least be in the option period of purchasing a property this month. Trying to work on my listening to books, not reading books. That'll be my little schnick. But,
hey, baby steps, the Audible is a lot of people use Audible, so there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, when I want to listen to a book, while I'm driving, I mean, obviously I can't read. I can't drive on the way to work. It's not a buy, so not here. Yeah, you definitely somebody will hit you or you'll hit them, because the way people drive here, like, it's crazy.
No doubt. So I finished 3 books so far on Audible. I forgot what this last one was called, but now I'm listening to The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. Which is the same person that did, I think, Think and Grow Rich.
Yep, exactly.
But that one costs money, so I haven't bought that one.
Hey, there we go. That cheap or frugal. Which one is that?
There you go. Probably cheap, but hey man, there's still other books out there to learn from without spending money. So
it's always an option. It's just one of those things. It's like how do you you decide? You got to strategically go like, okay, all right, is this worth my money or not?
Is the amount of growth from this one book worth?
Yeah, exactly.
Because like $5, whatever much it costs.
Yeah, it's just like a course I want to take. It's for software, and it has all these different things you're gonna go through, and it's gonna be a 6-month course, but it's gonna cost me $10,500, and I was like,
whoa.
Yeah. But see, it's one of those things. It's like, okay, all right, I got to narrow this down. Can I get either get employment to pay for it, or get post 9/11 to pay for it, or do I have to come out of pocket? You have, and then if I got to come out of pocket, will I get my $10,000 back within a certain period in time? Right. So that's you kind of have to look at it. Where's your return on investment? Will this increase my pay by $10,000 extra per year, or will this be, be more than that? And you never know until you I have to do the research behind it to see if it's worth that amount of money. Because in that sense, I'm now starting to lean being cheap because I'm not actually putting in the research. And yes, it's a lot of money, but then it's like, it's an investment, and it's an investment in myself. So, which can cause growth, which can cause later on more money. So it doesn't, this is how you have to, prioritize it in your mind.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, investing in yourself is, the number one, and of course, investing in your knowledge is number one.
Yeah.
I was actually, when I was listening to that book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, which is a great book, by the way. You should definitely read or listen to it.
Okay.
And it's free on Audible. All right. Remember, I said free on Audible. So it's a really good book, and I think it's like 4 or 5 hours of listening to.
Oh, that's not long at all, huh?
No, it's not too bad. But so one of the things he said, and I thought was really interesting because I never thought this way, is that instead of learning more, learn to execute more and do the simple things best, right? So like in the military, right, they go over really the basics, right? So like, boot camp and A school or your MOS school, whatever it is, right? The thing I always used to hear was become brilliant at the basics, right? And that's why, like, in boot camp, you're doing incredibly simple things, but they're going to be hard on you for it, right? So that you know how to do incredibly simple things while you're under pressure, so that when it comes to even more complicated things, that same habit continues to go on.
Okay.
So I thought that was an interesting way to think about it that I personally never saw it, but the way he put it was good, and then he gives some pretty good examples in there too. I won't steal that knowledge from you.
All right, so I guess we go ahead and introduce our topic of the week here. Yeah. As we discussed, it ended up being your topic because I was like, man, is this my topic? I don't know. I was like, I do talk about money a lot. So, but this one here, the topic is you're not broke because you don't have money.
Yeah,
So, which, yeah, you know, it can be kind of a deep topic, you know?
I
So,
agree.
yeah,
I agree. Because a lot of people, they assign broke to money specifically,
yeah,
right? And when people hear broke, they think of poverty, they think of impoverished people, they think of
yeah,
poor people, and or they think of their situation, and as they don't have money, they feel like they are broke. But and it really depends on, like you're going to go into, is like your mindset, right? It is a mindset to be broke. Being wealthy is a mindset. Being impoverished is a mindset, right?
yep,
Where, and what that means is that you may be broke, right? You may not have money, but that's only for a limited amount of time,
mhm,
right? You can always make more money, but the mindset part has to be that you need to realize that you don't need to only chase money, that you at some point are going to make money, and that you are money, right? So one of the things that I heard was that like poor people try to make money, rich people try to earn money, and then wealthy people are money, right? It's just that mindset to where wealthy people understand that they're going to do something, and they already know that it's going to bring dividends for them financially.
yeah, yeah. No, I definitely think it's a mindset thing, uh, because I'll probably just myself, I would just think about how, you know, you felt like it's just too hard, right? It's like, will I ever make it to this point? You know, because you kind of cloud your own goals when you think about this. You know, you're like, okay, I can be this, or I could be in this place, but then how can I get there? You know, I don't know. You know, and I don't know a lot of people who are wealthy. I don't know how a lot of people who are rich. So then in my mind, the people who I'm around aren't that way. So that's not the discussion or the topic usually.
Right.
Usually the topic is like hanging out, going to have fun. And to
Going
me,
out to
it's like one of
drink.
those things. It's like it numbs you from the true things of life,
Yeah.
because yes, you are supposed to have fun. Yes, it's part of life. You need to have fun because it
Yeah.
reduces stress. But sometimes if you have too much fun or fun at the wrong time, you're not focused on your goals, and you're not thinking about, okay, how can I get out of this? How can I plan better to be, this new person, this different person?
I know, and that's just what you're speaking about is more about like discipline, for yourself, and discipline, being demanding of yourself, being demanding of others, and expectations of others. Those all play into that role of you wanting to be at a better financial standpoint than
Yeah,
you currently were, or you were in the past, or um, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, another thing is that mindset where you can actually become a person to change when it starts to hurt, you know. And when it hurts too much, that's when you're ready. Yeah, because you're like, nah, I can't do this. No, this not my life. No, I gotta go out there. I gotta do it. I gotta keep going. Because I think that time for me when it hurts, when, like I said, I told you, I think on another podcast, where I'm so broke I can't even buy food at the restaurant, but then I have so much pride that I just can't, like, nope, no, I did this to myself. I can't. So it's like those things like that hurt. That's that pain. The knowing that your process and how you take care of money was broken when you can't survive, as they say with the statistics. People don't have $400 past their next check or something like that. If they were to lose their job, they wouldn't be able to sustain themselves,
Yeah.
because they only have like $400 in savings. I'm not sure how true that is. Again, we're not personally out there doing statistics, and I'm pretty sure in different areas, different places, that probably isn't true. People probably do have money put away, but again, where it has to hurt and want to cause that reset, or that change in life, where it's like, no, I don't want this anymore. That wasn't good. That didn't feel great.
Oh, no, yeah, and it's there's levels to it, right? Of how comfortable you are with being in a certain position, right? So, like you said, it has to hurt enough for you to change. Because if it doesn't, you're not, right? And you can kind of create that in your own mind, right? So like for me, when I was broke, right, or in a different way to say, in a financial transition, right?
Yeah.
And I guess a better way to say it, right? More optimistic. But no, so when I was broke, like, so this is how it was, man. When I had the apartment, cost about, $800 a month. I was only getting paid like $1,200 a month, right? Like I said, I like in a previous podcast, right? I couldn't really
Yeah.
pay for utilities, and I could barely afford food, right? Even gas or whatever it was, right? So of course I still needed water, right? I still needed, gas for the car. So stuff like, but like I said, the AC wasn't always on. And I definitely needed a lot of food. So like my diet at the time was piss poor, but
Yeah.
it was eggs because I knew I needed protein at least, and then some sort of starch and like vegetable, right? So it'd be like eggs, or tuna, and then either rice or like bread, right?
Yeah.
So like very basic. Like I promise you that was my diet for a while, and I dropped like, yeah, I dropped like 30 pounds in like a few months, right?
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't eating how I usually did, right? And I was just so stressed because I was going to work, going to school, full time for both, and then I couldn't afford anything, but yeah, no, it was just a lot of stress, a lot of things going on. But I don't regret going through that because, like I said, it provided me the pain to change and to want to grow further.
No, exactly. I mean, plus we all should, and I won't say we should go, but we need to have that changing moment, right? I think that makes you learn, or you, if you didn't learn from it, then you didn't do your lessons learned. But
Right.
like most of us, we should learn from something of our past, something
Mm.
that help you get to where you're going. Because
Mm.
honestly, if you're not stressed about your success, then I think you're not trying. I mean, yeah, it's great if you know where you're going and everybody else has helped walk you through this path. That's great, but that's not everybody. A lot of us, we had to build ourselves from the bottom. Not everybody in your household went to college. I had people in my household that went to college, so that actually I think my parents did. They all went to college, but I wasn't always living with them, so not everybody has that mentality that college should be your next step. Some people feel like your next step should be straight to work. Um, I mean, I won't say military. Not everybody thinks about military, but but if you think about some of the benefits of going to the military, it does help you out with helping you build your future. So you have to put in the pain somewhere to actually get somewhere. I mean, like I said, it's nice to be walked through, but you may not learn anything by being completely walked through your path. If you now, yes, it helps with some of the bumps you're not going to hit. I think your analogy was like being on the highway as over time highways create these potholes, and then also you don't know if you're going to run into an accident. All those things, all these adversities in life, all these things that are there that help build you for the next step. So I think you should have something that gets in the way that hurts a little bit.
Oh, I agree. And then kind of going back to like how you look into your past and try to learn from the past, right? So like this is going to be a different podcast topic at some point, but one of them is that you can't drive just by looking in the rear view mirror, right? And what that means is that like you can't keep going through life only by looking at the past.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying you can't learn from the past, because in a car, right, at least in Texas here, a rear view mirror is required.
Yes.
Right. Meaning that you always have your past. And I'm not saying you can't look at it and you can't learn from it. But guess what? The path is in front of you, not behind you.
Yep.
So just focus on what's in front of you, but learn from what has transpired before.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I mean, you are correct. You shouldn't let your history, I guess, in this point, deter you, because if it puts too much fear in your life, then it could stop you from your future, things that are supposed to be in your path. So use the history as a lessons learned, but not use it as fear of not taking on new risks or taking on new challenges.
Right.
So, completing your destiny that you're supposed to have on your path.
Right.
Yeah. And then another thing too, like going with that mindset is that that strong why, and I guess that would go into why, coming from if it hurts. Now I have the strong why of why I should do something. Why should I be successful? Why should I finish school? Why should I seek out new opportunities? So go ahead.
My bad. But no, so like, and I think a lot of people kind of get the why mixed up with their what, right? Where your what is a noun. It's a something. It is a thing, right? It's something, maybe not material, right? But it is a noun, right? Where the why is more of a verb. It is to be successful, right? To drive towards something, right? It is a verb, meaning like it is a purpose, right? It's not attached to specifically something materialistic. That is what the what of the portion of goals or successfulness is about.
Yeah. But yeah, going to the your why, let's see, if you wanted to college, right? So we'll go with that one, right? Because so some people do desire to finish school, go to college, but then you could put something else in front of you. You can try to say, okay, what job what do I see myself? What career? How do I see myself in the future? How did I visualize myself? And that could be one of those things that starts that why, right? Now we don't want to make it that, we want to make it that completely, but we want to start it. So then we go like, okay, well, I want to be an architect, right? All right. So now I have this dream that I will be this person building or designing buildings or designing homes or helping reconstruct these large buildings or whatever, right? So that could be the start of it, right? So now you have the visualization, but then next you want to try to be, let's see, like, okay, what could I do behind that? So who would I be providing this to? Would this be big businesses or whatever, right? So then you just you keep taking the next step and the next step of like how to build this why, and then until you find out this is what I want to do, that, and once you see that, you see yourself in the future, that person doing these things, and then that starts to become your why.
Yeah, I think you really kind of have to like psychologically analyze what is really behind your why, right?
Yeah.
Do you really want that position because it's your passion, it's something that you want to do, or is it because that position of comes with a certain salary?
Yeah.
Right. Like, do you want to become a doctor because you want to help people, because you want to be of service to people, or do you just want that paycheck that doctors get? Right. So and that's the thing. Like, a lot of people, they'll see it just for the money. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll be completely transparent. One of the reasons why I got into cyber and continued into cyber is because of the money, right? Because I saw that there were a lot of opportunities to become like very financially well without having to do like to get a doctorate, right? Without having to put a lot of that financial burden on myself, right? So, I got the bachelor's degree, right? And I will really talk about like my stance on like college certifications, education, whatever it is, right? But that'll be another topic. But I got my bachelor's degree while I was working, and then I got certifications while I was working. Started working in cyber while I was still getting my bachelor's, and then got my master's, still got certs, whatever it is. But like in the very early parts of that, when I started my career while I was still going through my bachelor's, all I focused on was the money, right? And it was such a not weird mindset. It was such a common mindset, I should say, is that everyone just wants the money. And I get it. Yeah. I get it. Like, you have bills to pay, right? You have a mortgage, you have water, you have utilities, you have all these things to pay. So of course, yes, at least get those paid. But there's gonna be a certain point where there's not gonna be enough money, right? If you keep going after just what you want to be paid, you'll never be paid enough. Right. And it's just but I don't know. I can't really remember what that change in mindset was. And maybe it was because I started thinking more than just me.
Yeah.
Right. I started thinking more about like my future and, my future wife, my future kids, the grandkids, like everything. Like it just started cascading down to like generations. And I was just like, well, I understand like we need money and stuff. I want to know like, what about how they feel, right? Their emotional state, their education, all these things. Like, while I understand that money can buy all this, it's not going to be the end all be all for the legacy.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that you brought that up because that is a true statement. A lot of us do it for the money. I remember mentioning it to my nephew about picking a job or picking a career that will get you to where you want. So if it's something that's going to have a large salary, right, that might not be exactly what you want to do, but if it gets you out of the state that you're in now, but then leads you to a different opportunity. I mean, you could do it, do it in that way. Because if you don't have the passion for it, because eventually some people they lose the passion for whatever it is that they're doing. And at first it was like, oh, this is great. But no, it's not. I really was doing it for the money. The pay is great. And then now everything is stressful. It doesn't feel good. You don't like it. And so in that point, then that's where that planning comes in. You should probably be planning for your next step. So where will you see yourself in the next 10 years or 5 years, right? Where would you see yourself? And that's a good way. If you're going to use money as your motivator, then you definitely need to start pointing, finding your direction. Where are you going next?
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, no, and yeah, no, it's just like I said, not a weird talk, but such a common thing because like you'll hear people, and I've heard people in conversations like, "What do you want to do?" And then they say something, and they're like, "Oh, that's not going to make enough money, right? You're not going to make a living." Like when someone, like I remember someone told me they wanted to be a teacher, and I was like, "Hell yeah, that's awesome, right?" I have a lot of respect for teachers, and I do agree that a lot of them do not get paid their worth because I've seen them work. I've seen them overwork, right? And then this is for like, even in like, especially in public school and stuff, right? I've seen them like get overworked and not get what I feel like they are worth, and probably what they feel like they are worth. But then I also told them, I was like, being a teacher is great and all, and I'm not a big advocate of like the system of like public schools and stuff, but what I told him was like, that kind of like, be a teacher, yeah, be whatever you want, but kind of figure out how to use that gift you have to teach in a bigger style, right? So because we all live in like the information world, right? You got YouTube, right? You got stuff like Skillshare, you have like the master's classes, you have all these classes where you can like actually get paid for doing the exact same stuff, right? Even stuff on like TikTok, right? There's that person that's like, I forgot what the name is, but and I don't have TikTok, so I wouldn't actually know, but she makes a good living just in general, but she started making even more money, I think like 6 figures or something, just by teaching Excel on TikTok, right? And TikTok's not like incredibly long videos, right? They're very short videos, right? But they filled a gap, right? They figured out, what they learned can be taught, and they could then monetize what they could teach. So in that specific aspect, I think it was just change of mindset, right? And I'm not saying you can't teach people. I definitely teach people, but you're also limiting the audience that you're impacting, right? And in my opinion, teaching is about impacting the next generation or the upcoming generations, right? And if you want to be of a greater impact, then you need a wider audience to impact.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that because exactly. I think it's always been known that teachers don't get paid enough, but nowadays, yes, with technology, you can do so much more. I know, like I look at LinkedIn Learning. So like a lot of them that they get on there. I don't know if these are, like I said, local teachers or if these are professors at colleges or whatever, right? But they go in there and teach exactly what you're talking about. Like you can learn everything about Office, on there. You can learn about a bunch of different things. And like I said, Excel was one of them I was trying to take a look at because learning different ways how to use spreadsheet for like my personal life. It was it's actually really good. So that's why I build my own with that financial statement. I do it myself just so I can create a picture of everything I own and what the budget looks like, and yeah, you're right. Yeah, they may not get paid, which I don't know how much they get paid, but obviously the teachers I do know, they still get a house, they still do things. It's not like they're the most, I guess we say in poverty,
Right. Yeah, they're not. I'm not saying that they're hurting for money.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
But all the time that they spend, all that passion they spend, like especially like, I mean, these are people's kids, right? These are literally the future of this country, any country, whatever it is, right? And like, why wouldn't you try to incentivize them somehow, right? And I get, when I say incentivize, I don't necessarily mean monetarily. And I know some of the teachers, they get like some sort of break from like student loans and stuff. But even so, right, like just like the military, sometimes the benefits don't outweigh what you're actually worth. So
because with military depends on like what rank, how long you've been in, but if you know why you're in there, that's the good part, So like I said, I knew why I went in. I also had the student loan repayment, which was a big thing, because it knocked a big chunk out. So like, and I think what brought it to my attention was when I was about to finish college and I heard somebody else say it. And I was like, really? I was like, let me take a look at it. And the first time I think when I first went to go talk to a recruiter, it was like 80K payback. Payback up to 80K of student loans. And I didn't take it at that point. I'm kind of glad I didn't. Then once I moved to Texas, life went for a little twisty turn, and I went to go check it out again because I received in the mail, because I guess I had missed a couple of payments on my student loans or defaulted or starting to default. It didn't default. It was starting to. So then they sent me the full bill. I was like, if I can't make the payments, how would I make the full bill? How would I be able to pay $49,000 right now? Like that didn't make any sense. But I was like, okay, maybe that was what they were trying to do, was try to get me to get off my butt, figure out what you're gonna do. And that's when I wanted to go like, all right, let me go talk these guys up here, see what they can do. Can they help me out? And obviously I signed up, so it was good for me. And then picked up some skills along the way, which is always a good thing. So when I was signing, I was trying to make sure I got any and everything that could help me as I return back to the workforce, as a regular civilian. That's what I was working on. So that's so that's one of those things, right? You figure out why you're doing it, and if you know you're not going to get paid that much, then you need to figure out what skills, what benefits does this do? How does this help me for the later me? Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah. And then I guess we get, one way could be a strong wise, like if you're doing it for your family, right? When you want to change for your family, if you need to provide for your family, or I mean, it could be you, right? You want, just like how we were saying, if you can figure out what you need to take you to the next level. But then it's the same for your family. What do you need to take your family to the next level? You want to increase the quality of life for your family. One of those things, it's a mindset. So you gotta understand that your family is you, and you are your family. So anytime that you step out to go to work, do whatever you need to do, right? When you're on that front line, you're not doing it for just you. You're doing it for you and your family. Now, like I said, if you don't have a family yet, then or you're planning on having a future family, that it's still you. It's bigger than you. It's not just you. If you think about it in that way, you would definitely, your mindset would change. You would try to be more productive. You would try to intake as much knowledge as you can. You try to do anything to be that next person, because that's how I started. I think that's how I became a better person, is because once I stopped thinking selfishly and I started thinking about, okay, now it's not just me. I started to become better. I started to be more responsible. I started taking responsibility for things that are in my area, right? So I had a sergeant major who said, what's in your 3-foot bubble, that's what you should take care of, right? Anything that's in your 3-foot bubble, you need to make sure that person is okay, or what that thing is taken care of, whatever it is, right? So that responsibility thing, and it made me a better person, where now I'm trying to make sure, because you can't stop every bad thing that's going to happen.
No,
but it gives you, when you become responsible, it gives you more awareness. And now when something happens, I can either react quickly, or I've already prepared for it. And either way it goes, you're attacking that problem.
I agree. No, and I think responsibility is one of the biggest things, right? Because when it is about you, you're only responsible to you, right? When you start making it more about more than you, right, then the responsibility of others, right, having to be reliable to others, right, or being relied on, it changes your mindset, it changes your grind, it changes how you even wake up in the morning, right? Because you wake up and you don't want to hit the snooze button, because you know if you hit the snooze button, someone's gonna be late for school, right? Someone else is gonna be late for work, right? If someone's late for school, you're probably gonna be late for work. If you're late for work, then someone that's work that relies on you isn't gonna be able to finish what they need to do, right? Then it starts cascading down, where you just kind of picture it or put it together that it's not about you, right? Say even if you don't have a family, right? Because there are people out there where they say they don't want a family, right? But there are still people around you that are being affected, right? And some of it could be like just as simple as your bills, right? You have to pay bills because someone provided a service to you, and they may not deserve that money, but they worked and put in the work for that money, right? So it's just like you pay your mortgage, right? You technically owe that company a certain amount of money, right? They are relying on you to pay that mortgage within a timely manner, right? So I think responsibility is a huge thing, and I'm thinking more than just you. And like you said, it made you a better person, and same with me as well, right? I fully believe that I am a servant, right? That I come to serve, and I come to be of service to people, right? I've never really looked for like any like rewards, awards, whatever it is, any accolades, because I just want to be of service to people and help others.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then another thing, I guess, could be a mindset issue, or that could keep you from realizing that you could do better. Would be you might not think that you can have a better life, right? And I mean, that could be one of those things that like you feel like you don't deserve to be the successful person. This is where I was born amongst these people, and then this is who we are, and this is what we do. And that's not a true statement. You could be whatever you want, right? You could do whatever you want, but it's like it's one of those things. It's like I want to culturally. This is what I'm trying to go toward culturally, right? Because I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. So like and I'll just take me for instance, right? I realized that I didn't realize I had certain things, I won't say wrong with me, or I'll say holding me back. How about that? Right? I had it was more cultural, right? When you've been raised by your parents, you've been around your family for so long, right? And you pick up their habits. You've been programmed by the things that they do, that you don't realize that you can be a better person. And I mean, and then it's great when you have family and you have friends and you have people around you, right, that help you with understanding that you can do these things. You can be anything you want. You can, you know what I'm saying? You can build a rocket ship and go to the moon, right? And it's always great to have, people like that in your life, but that's not everybody, right? And then your parents and your family, they're not trying to hurt you. They're only teaching you what they were taught. And some people use this thing where like, well, it worked for me. Why won't it work for my children? Or why won't, why won't it work for me? Or work for, who else, right? She be able to keep going. But no, that to me, I think every generation should be increased. Every generation should be pushed to do the next thing. No generation should stay the same. So when I hear people say that, I was like, no, if you were raised one way, that was that way. But no, your children should be raised a different way because we're growing. We should grow. We're meant to grow, right? Yeah, because in that case, we want to stay children for the rest of our lives, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, just because it's not broken doesn't mean it can't be improved.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
People try to look for things that are broken, right? And then not everything has to be broken, right?
No.
Simple habits are the same. There was nothing wrong with the way our parents lived. It's just that we want to improve on how they were and continuously have that improve throughout the next generations.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess, some of those things where you don't feel like you should have a better life or things like that. You giving up too soon, right? Giving up before you're trying. So,
I think it, like, I kind of typed it out while you were talking, but there's this principle called learned helplessness, right? I don't know if you've heard about it, right? And it's kind of an extreme for this specific topic, but what learned helplessness is that, when a dog or an animal, like a domestic animal, is beaten every day, right? Like they're just getting abused every day.
Yeah.
They just learn that, right? They learn helplessness. They emulate that no matter what, right? So even if that owner is no longer there, they're always within that ball or bubble that they know that they're going to get hurt one day.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, it's a little bit extreme for the specific topic, but that happens, right? When we get discouraged, right, to not do something, right? When someone is in your ear that you trust and they tell you, no, that's not a good idea, right? You should do what this person did, or you should do what I did, right? Yeah. It just becomes that habitual thing to where you think of anything, right? You automatically, your inner voice tells you not to do it because you already know everyone else is going to tell you not to do it, right? Yeah. And that's not true, right? You should do what you want to do. If you have to take some licks on the way, take your licks, right? You made your bed, you got to lay in it. So just take the licks and learn from it, right? And it happens to so many people, and I get it. Like, you want to listen to your parents and you want to respect your parents, or you want to respect your elders, but just because they did what they did, to whether that's right or wrong, right, doesn't mean it's right for you specifically. And same with us, right? If we tell our kids, right, a certain way, that doesn't make it right for them specifically. So they should or will probably learn different ways and challenge the ways that we have. So which we should probably take as a good thing. But just wanted to kind of cover that topic.
No, that's good. And then that would kind of still lead into that giving up before trying, right? Like if it's something that you've learned over time, and like you said, someone has said no, that it doesn't work that way. Oh no, why would you want to do that? I mean, I could tell you, it might not have been from my parents. It could be just the people I was associated around, and that was just their mindset. Especially if it looks too difficult, right? Yeah. And you have that mindset. If it's too difficult, then maybe we shouldn't try that. Maybe that's not for me. I don't really, but you. Honestly, in my honest opinion, this is how I feel. You should always try anything, right? If it's not a danger or it's not harming anyone else, I think you should at least try it, right? Because that's where you learn how to build up that that risk factor where I'm okay with taking risks, right?
Yeah, so like tolerance, right?
That risk tolerance. That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean. So that's why I try not to, with IT, right, we troubleshoot. That's why I don't like giving up before trying. Before I ask for help, I'm gonna try it first. I don't care if I'm gonna fall flat on my face. At least there was a lesson learned in the process. And guess what? Now I can go reach out to my counterparts who have the knowledge to help me, move forward.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. And not just IT and stuff, but but at work. Right, we kind of do this thing. We're like, throw the dice, right? Just roll the dice, right? But people, like you said, their risk tolerance gets so low because they're not willing to roll the dice, right? Yeah. For whatever reason, right? They're not willing to put in, like you said, a monetary investment in something because it might be too much for them, right? So they're not willing to either go to college or get a certification or just take a few classes, right, to empower them and grow their mind, because that financial burden is too much, right? So and I definitely understand that, but you have to kind of learn your own risk appetite and risk tolerance when it comes to, of course, the money, but just life in general, right? I'm not saying go skydiving, right? I'm not saying go bungee jumping, right? Not for like the physical thrill, but just in life lessons in general, take chances, right? Roll the dice, do something that you may not be comfortable with, because at least you'll know at the end of it, like you said, don't let it be deadly, right? But at least at the end of it, you'll know something new, right? That, hey, maybe I'm not up for that specific thing, or maybe I could do more than just that, right? So it really depends, man.
No, because you would start to get that as you say, like that thrill, that feeling. It's like, oh, I'm gonna try it again, or I'm gonna do something new, because that might create those endorphins in you, where it's like, oh, it's an excitement. I was like, oh yeah, let me try it again. Oh no, let me do something different. Let me see if I get, because you try to keep getting that same high over and over again. And then
that fix, man.
I need more risk. Give me risk. So and then I guess that's why you can't be around people who have the wrong mentality, right? Because if they're risk averse people, then they might try to push off their mentality or their scares or their worries. They push it onto you. I was like, no, it didn't work for me. I doubt it worked for you. And and you go like, no, I'm a different person. I got different determination. I can do anything. So that's why I always believe in that. Like, give it a try first. Because being around the wrong people will hinder you from your successes. And I think that's why, like like I said, we were talking about it earlier about a podcast I was listening to where they would say, pick up, leave, go somewhere totally different, totally new, right? And build your new life there. And you would actually learn that you are a different person. You would start to become you, right? So it's not to say, hey, you can't be friends with those friends anymore. You can always reach back out to them, but once you have developed a new you, and then you will be able to pull yourself back, right? From okay, well, I appreciate your thoughts and feelings on this, but no, that's not me. I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see if it works, or I'm gonna try this out, and then it's all you're becoming your own self. You're not becoming a crew member, or what I'm saying, you're not, like you're learning how to be an individual. You try not to be alone, but you'll be an individual who knows how to choose their own path, not to be, not to have someone else choose your path for you.
No, I agree. And like, it's not even like becoming a new you, but it's becoming more of you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Like you're identifying yourself, right? And you're just kind of falling into whatever that is, right? Whatever that passion is, whatever that niche is, whatever your career is, whatever it is. But it was always you in the first place, right? You're just becoming more of that you. You're becoming, like you said, an individual rather than one of the pack or one of the group.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And choosing what can hinder you or make you think that you don't have, you can't have a better life is like choosing comfort over growth, right? Which, growth requires some risk, or some stress. You definitely, you can't always be comfortable. Comfort can be a killer of your growth if you don't know how to manage it properly, I'll say.
Yeah. I was like, dude, like one of the biggest things is, right, there's a difference between trying to become number one and then staying number one.
Yeah.
Right. So like there's and what that means is that, right, you can become number one, right? But when you become number one and you stay stagnant, you become comfortable with being number one, and you're just kind of expecting everything to happen because you are number one, you're going to get knocked down, right? Because that next person is always going to be chasing you, right? And always going to be trying to get above you. And when they do, and if they have the character that can withstand that number one spot, then they're going to do their best to stay number one, right? So like your Michael Jordans, right? Like your Michael Jacksons, like all these other celebrities, right, where they were number one in that field and they stayed number one for as long as they could while they were in that space. So Yeah, no, it's a different mentality. And while I'm not saying you shouldn't be trying to get number one or whatever it is, right? But when you get there, right, when you have that feeling of relief, right, always try to keep in your mind that there's always someone else trying to come for your spot,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that would definitely, for sports wise, right? That'll keep you in the gym where you're learning how to keep yourself healthy as long as you can. Learning how not to hurt yourself in the gym, and also like to extend past what somebody tells you the age is to leave. It's like, oh, now you're for this sport you're at retirement age, But then it's like, no, I'm not done yet. I want to do some more. But being number one and staying number one, yeah, two totally different things, like you said. Because just like if it made me think about how, having a bunch of, number ones in the same room, how competitive that is versus having a number one amongst a number 10, right?
Yeah.
May not be much of a challenge for them and they might start to get comfortable. But if you're
Yeah.
put in a room with a bunch of number ones, you can't get comfortable because everybody is coming for your slot,
Yeah. And the thing I liked about Michael Jordan, and granted, I was already a kid when he got out, but
Yeah.
learning from like some of the like of his mentality, right, is that he never cared who he went up against. He was always going to give his 100, right?
Yeah.
Well, where you'll see like other teams, whether that's sports or even people, right, they come up, or when they show up, it's dependent on how well the other person is or how well that other team is, right?
Yeah.
So like if it's a really good team, they're going to perform really well or at their best, right? If it's a like you said, a number 10 team, if it's like
Yeah.
not a great team, then they're going to perform at that lower level, right? But if
Yeah.
you're going against Mike, if you're going against MJ, right, he's going to give you like his number one each and every time.
Yeah.
So and that's the difference, right, of being number one and staying number one, right?
Yeah.
Same with like even Brady, even like Alabama, right? They're always gonna try to shoot for number one because they've been at number one. And they enjoy that feeling, right?
Yeah.
They enjoy what it provides for them. So they're always gonna be at that point in time or that place in life.
Yeah. And then I guess another thing too, like realizing that you don't have to be broke is like understanding your worth, right? Knowing your worth, who how you should get paid or where you should be, because it isn't about the money, right? It should be about building yourself for the next stage in life, right? But at that time being, if money is tight, it's a crunch, then you need to focus in a different area. So knowing your worth, knowing that you have the skills to be in a better position, to be in to be at a whole nother company that has this, or even starting your own business, right? You have the necessary skills that you can move forward. So knowing your worth, knowing that you should not be suppressed to this one thing, that is causing you this unpleasant feeling of being broke, right? So that was why kind of wanted to hit on that about knowing your worth.
Knowing your worth to me is very important, right? Because I know a bunch of people where they went for a position and they only asked for a certain amount of money, right? And like we were saying, like, it's not about the money, but we still believe in you getting paid what you're worth or receiving what you're worth, right? So my buddy started working in cyber right after getting out of the military. The job was, let's say 75K was what they were actually putting out to people.
Yeah.
But he, unbeknownst to himself, he just asked for 55K, right? Because it was just, maybe about the same or a little bit more than what he was getting in active duty. So, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you 55K. You know what? We'll give you 60K, just to be generous, right?
Yeah.
And then he finds out like months later that, the new people that are getting hired, they're getting paid like 75K, and he gets upset, right? And I think they even talk about this. I didn't really watch it, but it was MJ's thing, but The Last Dance, right? With Michael Jordan and Scotty, right? Where Scotty found out that he wasn't getting paid like what he felt he was worth, right? And so he left, right? So, and the thing is, like MJ, he was like, that has nothing to do with me, right? Because I'm in charge. I know what I'm worth. I'm in charge of me, right? If he didn't know that, then that was his problem, right? But I'm still gonna put in my grind for the game, and I'm still gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it's hard to really gauge your worth if you really haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Right. If that makes sense, right? If you've never been in the professional space, if you've never been in that specific industry,
Yeah, exactly.
right,
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
it's hard to know what your worth is. So kind of like calculate it, right, in a way, right? So like if you have a certain amount of experience, right, if you can bring things to the table that, you know, things that other people aren't willing to do, right, then that should add on to it. Now, how you calculate into the monetary value, it depends on your industry, where you're at, what you're doing, right? But for me, what I did is that I kind of guesstimated or gauged on what the position was providing, and I just went for what I felt like I deserved in doing that position, right? So, and you know, it was based not just off of, you know, the piece of paper I had, whether that's degree, certifications, whatever it was, but it was also that I know that I'm gonna be a servant to people. I know that the amount of service I give is good quality, so I'm gonna ask for a quality salary, and I'm also going to provide that quality service, right? I'm not just going to show up to the interview, because a lot of people show up to an interview at their best, right? You know, you show up to your first date as your best, right? As the best version of yourself. But then when you go into it, when you're actually hired like 3 months down the road, you're not the best version of you. You don't show up the way you looked in that interview, right? You don't show up on time. You don't do what it is for that position.
Yeah.
And you kind of just stagnate. So, but going back to knowing your worth, I think another part of it is like you have to know who you are, right? As a person, right? Like, what do you want to do? Why are you doing it, right? And, you know, knowing your why and stuff, and then that'll kind of translate to a monetary value. And at some point, you get to choose that monetary value of what you should be worth.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, it'll lead to the point about like you know, finding ways to build your confidence, right? Because if you can, that also, it helps you with, you know, your knowing your worth. I won't say it helps you with knowing it, but like it help you choose a better position, as in say like your friend there that underbid himself, right? But having the confidence, because just like you said, coming from a space that's not the same, and you're trying to fall into this new space, I think we always sell ourselves short. And by not having the confidence coming in saying, hey, no, I know this position pays this, I know I'm worth that, I'm going to take this, and I'm only going to take it for that amount, you know. It takes that confidence, right, to go in there and be like, hey, I'm gonna rock this interview, and when they ask me, when they give an offer, and this is what I'm saying I'm worth, and I know I'm worth that, right? So
and there's like a kind of a fine line between like confidence and cockiness. You have to realize when you're confident, you have empirical evidence to back that, right? Like you have those stats behind you, right? And it's crazy, like you don't even have to know Michael Jordan's stats, but because of how popular he is, right? You already know he was a beast, right? And he's a GOAT, right? So so it's like in no question on how he as a person or as his character was, because everyone talks of him in high regard.
All right, man. We did it, man. I think we hit an hour. I know we were talking about, oh no, we're gonna do less, you know, maybe 30 minutes. I don't think that works with us, man.
Topic's too good, man. Topic's too good.
I know. It turned out better, like as it kept going. So the I guess the segment that was added in is Frugal Cheap, right? And this is one I thought of when I was younger, right? I did this one, especially when I first started driving. And then this is riding with the windows down to save gas. Is that frugal or cheap?
So in my opinion, that's kind of cheap, right? Because like you do that, but you don't actually know, quote unquote, how much gas you're saving. Doing that, right? Or how much money you're actually saving that. Because I don't know either, right? So I don't have any evidence on me, but I'm pretty sure that even if you have the windows down, and like we were kind of talking about earlier, it causes drag on the car, right? So like if you want to be able to not necessarily go faster, but move smoother, right? Especially like through aerodynamics, then you want all your windows closed, right? And then it won't like the drag won't come against you, right? It
Yeah.
won't pull your car, so you won't have to put your engine won't have to put as much energy into it to push your car or thrust your car further.
Yeah.
Right? And then another thing is like the frugal thing would be to research your car first and find out a car if like gas, specifically gas mileage was your problem, you would want to find a car that has better gas mileage. So like what I did, right? Like, and I fell into this trap too. Like I said, it's WD-40, right? Granted, mine was for AC, but like it's called windows down, going 40 miles per hour. Where my Mustang definitely didn't get good gas mileage. It was like 12 miles to the gallon, I think. Like it was absolute garbage. So what I started looking into, right, when I could afford a better car, is that I started looking into like hybrids, right, or just cars, one that had low maintenance and that I could afford and had a better gas mileage, right? Because I didn't want to pay for all that gas. So I got like a 2012 Lincoln hybrid that, like I said, the maintenance isn't too high because it's a Ford product, right?
Yeah.
The hybrid, so I get right now like 35 miles to the gallon compared to that 12, right?
Yeah.
So it's just adjusting. I think that was more of a frugal move, other than just continuously to roll the windows down.
Yeah. No, I definitely it was a cheap move. It was a cheap move, especially now that I'm older and realize that and even at that time, right, I was living in a low cost of living area where gas was like super cheap, and I still was trying to do this. I could like get a half a tank with $5. That's at the time. At the time, yes. It was a low cost of living area, and at the time, gas was very cheap. And this is back when I was.
You can barely get like a little over 1 gallon now.
Exactly right. So I was being super cheap, not frugal. That's one of those things I had to learn over time, how to be more of a frugal person than a cheap person, because you're looking for quality, not the actual price of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's one of the big things between frugal and cheap, is that cheap people look at the actual dollar value or monetary value, versus where frugal people, while they look at the monetary value, they also look at the quality or the enhancement of their life it could do.
Yeah.
Right. So like buying furniture, right? I'm not saying you have to buy the best furniture in the world, but you shouldn't just be going over dumpsters and grabbing chairs and just putting in your house, right? That's
unless it's your hobby. Yeah, your hobby is reupholster furniture.
There you go. Right? If that's your hobby, right? But don't be just slumming and getting
right.
Trash couches.
I've had to do secondhand store before because my credit wasn't great. I had to go and buy couches that didn't match. They didn't match anything. I just got couches and chairs. So
I had like 2 or 3 different sets of couches from like different people, and none of them matched, and they're all gross. And and I still have one of them. Is like but it's just because it was a pull-out bed. That one wasn't bad actually. It was just like a little scratched up because they had cats and it just scratched up parts of the sides. But
All right, now thank you everyone for listening. This is Craig and Jay signing off with the Troubleshooting podcast. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.